This NFL Props Week 15 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rebet, a new sportsbook available in 45 states. Download Rebet in your app store and use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, it's Peyton Manning, and you're listening to SGPN. Let's ride.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Howdy, Sean. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks to everyone who reached out. Doing great.
I'm glad you're doing well.
Doing great. It's always a great day when we got the man, the myth, the legend. You know him, you love him. CJ Sullivan, aka the man in the box. What's happening, CJ?
What's up, fellas? Glad to be here during an intense week. I've been catching in some of the programming, and that's what happens when one person's season's just getting, to the pinnacle. One's kind of over.
You can sit on the sidelines and take your pot shots.
Well, it's just, there's just a lot of energy that goes around, and some of it's projected. I can tell some of it's projected across the table. Some of it's projected out towards the whole internet, the whole listening base out there. And
I have no regrets.
And just going through, right? No, absolutely. You should not. You did have regret. It made great content, made great programming. I know we rehearsed this show a couple times earlier this morning. Today, I came in to crack it on, and it was hot. It was tested.
CJ was sensing. He's like, "Oh, this is going to be a good prop show.
This is going to be a hot prop show." So if you liked the tension the other night, it's going to get even tripled here today.
I don't know how it could.
I'll be honest. I was kind of surprised there was any reaction. Like after the episode, I thought, good job, Sean. It was pretty tame. You didn't really go nuts. Well, didn't unload. I thought I was keeping it in pocket.
I'll say this: it was a beautiful recipe of being an Eagles fan, as I am one too. It's a weird situation where it's typical Eagle fans where they're talking negative about a thing that's
be
great.
Be careful. There's eggshells everywhere.
Right. So you're defending that, and then you had a quite a maestro over here who was kind of moving the waves a bit, and then you had a glass of scotch to that. It became a very combustible situation that was right on the perk, and is he really going to snap right here? He's crashing out, as the kids say, but is it going to be a full crash out? And it wasn't, so I give you credit for that.
Thank you.
But you had to defend, and I respect that as well, and that's what we do. We fight. You didn't hear no bell.
He's 11-2, still fighting for my life in those streets,
right.
Defending Jalen Hurts to the last.
You are
the last angry.
The only one
line.
left.
Yeah, I'm the only Jalen Hurts fan.
Jazz music, not the same without a DJ.
Jerome Booger Sugar saying Sean lost his fucking mind for a minute.
I wouldn't say that. Listen, as an East Coaster and Philly guy, we know that's how we talk. I mean, normally that was nothing at all whatsoever.
No, he didn't. He didn't lose his mind.
No.
There was that moment where he got upset. I was laughing at him.
Why are you laughing at me?
That's a fair question.
It was a funny joke. Like a clown, I think is what he said in Goodfellas.
Like a clown. Do I amuse you?
In that situation, yes, I was quite having a good time.
Yeah.
Like a monkey flinging shit at the human patrons.
I had a good time flinging that shit back, defending my boy AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts.
Sean really is on an island. I don't want to blow up CJ's spot, but I don't think CJ lives on Sean's island when it comes to Jalen Hurts.
Now with Jalen Hurts, I do appreciate how this all brought back the McNabb and Terrell Owens feud, though. I'm glad.
Well, that's what it's like to be an Eagles fan. It's like you can never. It's like this cult thing. You can never leave it.
Right.
I mean, T.O. played here for Philly for what, 2 years, year and a half, and still he's like, oh, I gotta weigh in.
Yeah.
I gotta chirp up with beef with McNabb.
He's so beloved though because we all hated McNabb because his play, even though he shouldn't have, because he was a perfect citizen and all that. And when you go back to that McNabb T.O. thing, not to rehash this stuff, T.O. was 100% wrong on all the things, but we don't care. T.O. was funny. He's doing push-ups, he's doing sit-ups in the driveway.
No,
we love that.
He was a maniac. And so when people say to me, "Oh, aren't you mad at AJ Brown?" Yeah, AJ Brown obviously shouldn't have answered the question the way he did. He should. That's something you bring up behind closed doors.
Also, shouldn't have changed his profile picture. That's a little childish.
That to me, I think is fun.
Okay.
I believe Ryan called it unforgivable.
Yes, unforgivable.
That's what set off a peak.
That's not what I said. I said it's an indefensible move. I said leveraging a social media profile picture change to get attention is indefensible.
Yeah, I didn't read it as that. I thought he was having fun.
He got the attention. Everything got smoothed over in the building, and now
maybe
hunky dory.
Maybe he was defending the Texans' safety in solidarity for that.
He was
also do your own thing, bro. Like someone just rolled out the Joker situation. You're AJ Brown.
He's not a social media whiz, right? He's a number 1 receiver who, when the bar is set at a press conference where you're doing sit-ups on your driveway.
Yeah,
like that was a distraction. This and what this happened is not a distraction. It's something that's going to fire up.
He should have gone with Deadpool.
Nah, I mean, Deadpool they like to, but Joker's a common one there for. I know you became.
It's very dark.
You've been embraced, I know, by another form of Twitter that you're going to find out on that side that Joker's used a lot.
Oh
for the similarities.
Listen, the Joker is it's a very dark thing. I mean, it literally killed the guy who played the role itself killed someone.
Right.
It's a murder.
I mean, it was pills, but sure. But yeah, I mean, that also got the kid to play. You had to get into a role.
Really
yeah, absolutely. That was the Crow.
You're right. You're right. Literally shooting schedule.
Right, the shooting schedule.
All right, we got a bunch of props, picks. Yes. Gonna get into it. Feeling good, and there's a couple that again, good reminder to tune into the VSiN show. CJ comes on, he gives us some ladders. We talk teasers as well, and also like Ryan and I give out some more touchdown bets as well, because there are some stuff.
Primetime titties.
Yeah, primetime TDs. And I feel like there's some stuff, especially when we're taping this, there's a couple that I'm keeping my eye on. There are a bunch of good ones, though, to get started. Kramer, what's your first prop for everyone?
There's a lot of bangers this week.
Yeah.
We'll start with an old regular.
Okay.
Anthony Richardson, under 15.5 completions.
Yeah.
Are they watching the fucking games? First of all, I understand Denver's had a slight bit of regression with their passing defense. I don't think this is not going to be an easy to move the ball secondary, and Anthony Richardson sucks. He's going to be cold. He's at altitude. He's at a bunch of things that his body potentially could reject, causing him to want to tap out of the game, but he knows he can't tap out of that game. Only once this season has he gone over this number, 15.5 completions.
Wow.
Who was it against?
At the Jets.
Yeah,
little passes. Other than those games, 12, 11, 10, 10, 3. I could keep going back. This is a ridiculous. I think I might take Bryce Young over Anthony Richardson at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot about this game, like people like on the Colts, which I don't quite get. And they're like, Anthony Richardson's improving. You don't see it in the numbers, but if you get an eyeball flow, like the way he pushes things.
How bad was that Patriots defense?
Right.
And they got the win.
This is what's
cover.
People are like, because you're right. There are a lot of sharps on the Colts. They're applying the typical late season buy logic with a young quarterback in a normal circumstance, but I don't think additional preparation time makes Anthony Richardson any better.
Ryan, this is a great question. Feel free to read it, because I think this is something that you are uniquely qualified to answer.
What? Question from my cock small.
Yeah.
All right. Will the drones affect the Giants game?
I mean, as a show that goes, we
that.
also hit on some pop culture.
What's
Going on with these drones?
What is the deal with the drones?
I tell you what,
I don't know.
If there's one state you don't want to be flying over as an unidentified object, it's Jersey.
Yeah.
They will shoot you out of the sky.
Did you see the video of the guy who tried to fly his drone? Like, imagine Staten Island man has a drone and tries to fly it at the mysterious drones. That we're going to get a ton of amazing content out of this. But it is a little curious that the government is saying, like, don't worry about it. It's definitely not the enemy. Also not us, but don't worry. About
we don't know what it
don't
is.
worry. Feels a little bit like the mob. Like, this is a mob thing.
Hey,
right? Like,
forget about it. They're big. They're big.
Don't worry about it. It's it's a truck going down the freeway. We don't got to pay attention to it.
They said they're the size of SUVs.
Came from the dock.
I have no idea what's going on.
And according to the man who tried to fly his drone close to it, battery completely died. Drone went down. So.
Well, and some people are like, oh, maybe it's extraterrestrial, like alien stuff. But if you're aliens, are you really looking to investigate New Jersey? Like, it seems like that would be the last place.
Yeah. I wonder if.
Wow. Okay. Just taking shots.
Yeah. Well, obviously that was the goal there.
I mean,
do aliens hide humans the way we hide the aliens? Like, oh, there's been some human like interactions because they abduct us. They probably they got to hide them from alien government because there's got to be like alien blue collar workers that build these ships and stuff, right?
What's these things?
You know.
I like it.
I also, I mean, we're gonna need to make sure our ladders are reinforced because we're going all the way up to swat some real drones.
Yes, get some real drones.
It does see because you're also getting a cornucopia of local law enforcement talking about spacecraft. Sean, this is gonna be a spicy holiday season. I mean, Santa Claus. It's going to be. Is it Santa Claus? Is it the aliens? Is it the Iranians? Is it the CIA?
I would guess Iranians, but
really?
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, if I had to guess, what would your guess be?
My guess would be we're doing. I mean, when you say it's not bad, it's not good, don't worry about it. It suggests that you're doing something.
Yeah, but wouldn't they put them away if once everyone started noticing
they're
them?
still doing the experiments. They're not done. They signed the agreement with the aliens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got to let them finish their testing. It's like the agreement with Texas A&M and the Saudis.
Okay.
The Saudis get so much research time at the A&M facilities. It's only fair. They wanted to get that defensive lineman from Louisiana. Anyway.
CJ, what's your first prop?
Do they run on gas, those drones, by the way?
I don't know. That's a good
great
question.
It's probably some sick ass technology.
Think so, but I don't know.
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
Jersey's a great place to get gas, if so.
That's true.
They have to have someone fill it up for them.
They got full service and no taxes. It's cheaper than anybody.
We might have just cracked why they're showing up only in Jersey.
Yeah, bet detectives on
they
this.
don't know how to pump their own gas.
All right.
There we go.
Absolutely. Full service.
We cracked the case.
And no taxes. Amazing.
That's an amazing. So maybe they're in Oregon. If they're also in Oregon.
If they're in Oregon, then we got something.
We've really done. Yeah.
Then the aliens did their research.
Yeah, please let us know.
And that throws that Iran out the window. They can just pump them in their own backyard, right?
This is great. We really need to do episode 1 of more questions than answers.
My first one, I'll go with a free square too. One of you guys always go back to just to get this out of the way. And the number came back down to me. That's my guy Faribault, the kicker for Houston.
Oh,
Texas.
yes.
Oh, you love your
What do you mean it came back? It's playable again?
It's minus 120 for over 1.5 field goals at home versus Miami.
Bada bing.
What are they doing? I mean, it hits every single game.
Love it.
It only missed once at the Vikings and the one Monday nighter, of course, when he got double jinxed and he slipped into that.
That was crazy.
But that was it all year. I mean, I'm talking about 10 wins and 2 losses or 11-2, whatever it is. I think they had a bye. But it's insane. He's the best kicker in football. As soon as they cross the 50, we're within range. They have no problem putting him out there with that offense that does not anywhere close to what it was last year. Faribault over 1.5 field goals, minus 120. Smash it.
Smash!
Yeah, pretty. I mean, just keep riding that Fairbairn, and it's also a fade of the Texans' offense, which they still kind of haven't gotten going. I like their chances against the Dolphins.
Keep riding that Fairbairn.
This one, I don't know what.
Fairbairn.
I don't know what had me on this prop, but as soon as I took a look at it, I said, you know what? This Aaron Rodgers, he's got his guys. One of his guys, Ryan, Alan Lazard. Give me Alan Lazard over 22.5 receiving yards. I do think the Jags get the cover somehow. I don't know how it happens, but Lazard is 6-2 to the over of this 22.5 receiving yards. He didn't get over last game, but then before that he had 5 in a row before not getting it again. Aaron's going to take care of his guys on the way out. He's probably, he seems like a guy maybe phoning in some of the prep at this point, sits back and just says, screw it. I'm going to throw it to Alan Lazard. So Alan Lazard over 22.5 against this Jags stout. I mean, there were guys wide open that Will Levis was not seen in that game. So I think the Jets are able to move the ball. They'll mess this game up on some like blocked field goal. But CJ shaking his head, loves the Jets.
My play of the week.
Play of the week. So CJ is all over the Jets.
I submitted Jacksonville my contest though.
Yeah. Did you tell Kramer you're trying to win the booty prize?
You like this? I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see if I'm
Are you close?
a gambling god atheist or not. Is there gambling gods? Can we tempt them? Well, I'm 7 up for the full season, booby. There's a lot more guys above me than there are below me. So I'm thinking this is the way to go. And I went 1-4 last week. So let's go for the quarterly.
The quarterly booby.
Yeah, quarterly booby.
So what's the plan?
The plan is I give out my picks as normal and I do my picks. And then I'm just going to enter the contest.
The reverse.
The fade.
This is fascinating.
Now, obviously, I can go 5-0. We'll see how this experiment works. You're texting with it. Why not stick with the plan that's got me here? One would think.
It is.
Just go with
the worst case scenario is you end up with the same result.
I know, right? But this is, I'm thinking occasionally if there's a dead number, I'll give out, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway,
there's a couple ways you can.
Yeah, there's a couple ways to go about it. And this Jacksonville one, I thought was a perfect one to start off with, no matter which side you on. You're not dealing with any gods of gambling. It's losers all around. I can see this being a push and just tilting me even more.
CJ. Yeah. Kramer, what is your next, what's your next prop?
All right. So we did a complete and Anthony. Well, all right. So we'll stay in the draft class. Bryce Young over 13.5 rushing yards.
Man.
This is they're not watching the games number.
Yeah.
They're 100% like, if the Cowboys are going to do anything, they're going to get some pressure in this game. And Bryce Young has been, he's been relatively good in a lot of aspects of the game, but he has been willing to take off for 5-yard scrambles. No problem. In fact, look at his last 4 games, 30, 20, 17, 29 rushing yards. So
that'd be 96 yards in the last 4 games.
Well, what do all those defenses have in common? Giants, Chiefs, Bucks, Eagles, all strong defensive lines that will get pressure. So we're going over here.
Yeah. I mean, CJ, we were both discussing.
This is almost a team selection.
Yeah. Let's just make it a team play because
I wasn't here.
That's how much this thing pops.
Oh, wow.
To be honest with you.
All our research formulas are all pointing us to the. I said to CJ,
it's a ladder.
Like literally as I finished typing
the ladder's amazing.
Bryce Young rushing ladder, CJ goes, I love Bryce Young rushing, and I go, I'm on it as well. Right. So I do have a different ladder I'll give out, but.
Well, yeah, I didn't. Yeah,
no, you didn't give out a ladder.
25 rushing yards for Bryce Young is plus 215. 40 is plus 550. 50 is 10-1. So consensus ladder play from CJ. A bonus ladder. I got another.
Yeah, I like that. I got a bonus ladder. Use it as Kramer's play. That's fine. 13.5 is an insane low number. Just to add on to that, Dallas has given up the most yards to quarterbacks rushing total on the season. Number 1. Yeah. And I was telling Sean, other than the Jets, Carolina is another play I love. I think the stadium's going to be lit. I think this is their first actual home game they're going to have where they're excited about their team. Cowboy fans are always, they're of course America's team because they're assholes and America's are assholes. And they'll beat it. But I'm just saying, They're the guy in the office. They're always contrarian fans in their hometown. And this stadium is going to be nuts. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. It always is anyway with the Cowboys. And Carolina's got a good chance of winning. So it'll be like there's kind of Super Bowl atmosphere. Meaning Bryce Young rushing, and he's obviously not afraid. Bryce Young, everything, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it does seem like it's a. I mean, again, I feel embarrassed to say that the first thing I bet on this week was the Panthers in a spot where they were favored for the first time in over 18 months.
Their atmosphere versus Tampa Bay a couple weeks ago was great.
They seem to have found a sec. I mean. Oh, God bless that Andy Dalton car crash because that really changed things for Bryce. Maybe Bryce Young. We never heard much about that car crash.
We never heard much about it, but I tell you what, it's not. It's not. It doesn't seem like a coincidence. All of a sudden, DeVito's starting and people's brakes are going out. People are knee, casts and stuff like that. I don't know if he does favors across the way. Maybe Bryce Young hired someone. I don't know what's going on.
Happy Gilmore situation.
Right. I mean, this is it's kind of wild.
All right, for me, and we'll stay in that game. I mean, how can you not love this guy? And part of it is just an excuse to talk about this gentleman. But Xavier Leggett has just been, he's an all timer. Kramer, I feel like we were talking about him a bunch last night. His receiving prop is 37.5 yards. This Cowboys defense is pretty decimated. Micah Parsons is disgusted with the team. Now you got to revitalize Bryce Young.
He couldn't believe they had lost.
And Xavier Leggett is, I mean, he dropped that ball against the Eagles, thank God. But overall, he's been playing really pretty well. Him getting 37.5, and I would not be surprised if it's one of these situations where it's like, oh, Xavier, we like this guy, we got to get it right. So I would not be surprised he's involved a lot. So yeah, give me Xavier Leggett over 37.5. And I feel like we talked about it last night, but I pulled the video of Xavier Leggett with his hot food take. Because
it's more water boy than anything, because you can tell like they're both sitting. So it's the St. Brown brothers.
Yeah.
And they're sitting up in their chair to get closer to the screen to hear him.
This is great. So
let it play first.
Yeah.
What's your hottest food take? So like, is there something weird that you like to eat or something you don't like to eat that you can never eat that most people would eat? Like what's something in the food industry that you that you have a weird opinion on?
Well, y'all probably seen that video when I tell them folks I eat coon, I eat raccoon.
They don't get it first.
I didn't
see that. I said, oh, what do you mean raccoon? Like the raccoon?
Like a raccoon that you see in the trash can.
What do you mean raccoon?
Where did you even get that?
I hunt it, I kill it, I skin them, cook them, eat them, all that.
So when's the last time you had a raccoon?
Thanksgiving.
2 weeks ago.
That's just great. Thanksgiving was the last time he had raccoon.
What's amazing is that's not kind of what they mean by a hot food take. You know what I mean?
No.
Hot food take's like, I don't like mashed potatoes. Like, whoa, what do you mean? He's like, well,
fries are overrated.
Yeah, right. I hunt and kill raccoon out of my garbage. All right, okay, that's a take. All right.
Yeah. So shout out to Xavier Leggett.
Shout out to him.
Just a fun guy to root for. Very.
I was just gonna say, I know you guys are patenting that digital ticket shredder. You know what I mean? And I have one that's been sitting on my account, which I don't mind. I don't want shredded. $100, 50 to 1 Xavier Rookie of the Year. I mean, it's dead. And part of my handicapping was if he can just get into conversation, his personality will have people voting for him. I mean, because
100%.
It's all narrative driven and people vote for it and they'll want to vote for this guy if it could happen. But unfortunately, Bryce Young could not play football for the first 2.5 months of the season. Other than that, though, I still don't mind looking at that ticket because he makes me smile just thinking about it. I'm like, God damn it, Xavier, I love it. I love you.
How can you say madam? And this is a prop Rhythm likes as well. So sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get in over there. Get you a 7-day free trial. Great for picks, props, NBA, NFL. Very easy to build your own models and try it out. Get your 7-day free trial. You're going to like it. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Kramer, what's another prop you like?
All right, let's go to Houston, Miami.
Okay.
We got paid heavily with this earlier in the season. Joe Mixon receiving yards. The number's 19.5. We've seen what running backs have been doing to this Dolphins team. Both Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis had success last week for the Jets. Before that, Josh Jacobs had a nice game against them. Before that, the Raiders had success through the air. The Bills. This is a Dolphins team that allows the running back to get loose through the air, and we know Mixon's going to get 2 to 3 opportunities. We played that anti-correlation same gamer that took us all the way to the moon thanks to the 2 touchdowns. But yeah, we're going back to it. Joe Mixon over 19.5 receiving yards.
CJ, what do you got?
I like that Joe Mixon over 19 receiving yards.
Honestly, what you said about who were you saying earlier? Oh, Bryce Young over everything.
Yeah.
Mixon, I feel kind of similar, but this receiving yards number is so low. Probably some ladder potential in there as well.
I agree. I'm going to give out a longest reception shout out to Steffi Smalls, who likes to do that one. And this is, I know I'll take advantage of this because I know you guys do a Monday night show, but I'm going to take advantage.
Is this game or week? Like, so it must
just
be
for the game. Yeah, just for the game. That double Monday night header. Which, by the way, not two greatest games. A quick little bet detective work. I know we figured out the drones already. We figured out case number 2. I think the NFL was lying to us last week.
Oh, this is a great theory
about why the Bengals Cowboys game couldn't be flexed because of the Simpsons. They threw Bart Simpson under the bus by saying, "Oh, the animation, the voice acting's already been down to wax."
Fuck.
No, they wanted Jerry Jones to get a game because okay, well then why aren't we flexing any of these games out? What's the excuse here? Is Family Guy doing a show? No, it's because they owe favors to Jerry Jones, to the Raiders, to the stadium, and this is the matchups they want. Just admit it. Don't be throwing Homer under the bus for us. So anyway, now we get these 2 terrible Monday night games, but they do have some great product matchups. The Bears defense is giving up the 4th most attempts deep over 20 yards. If you watch how Sam Darnold was just slinging it, it looks like they just go. I know it was against Atlanta, but
they're just chucking.
Yeah, they are just chucking on that offense. So I like them both, Addison and Jefferson. I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson just because it's Monday night. I think Jefferson's going to have a monster game. To match maybe T. Higgins from last week. That's how these divas like to work. It's 26.5 for longest receptions. Longest reception. I think that's no. I mean, Jefferson's mid range is like 18, whatever, and he can break one of those off for 20, let alone a deep ball. So I like Justin Jefferson over 26.5 longest reception.
Like the angle. Yeah, I mean, Minnesota in that spot makes a ton of sense. Hey, have you guys signed up with mybookie.ag? If not, what are you waiting for? Use that promo code SGPN. Get you a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. So if you take the bonus, read about the rollover. But man, my bookie account is looking pretty flush for the old Sean. Put in some Bitcoin there and putting it to work. I mean, been on a nice little 2 touchdown run. Knock on wood. Hopefully, get some more winners here. Shout out to Jake updating the graphic, getting rid of that loser Dakota Rain Prescott. Instead, putting in Derrick Henry, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Do us and yourself a favor by signing up. Get that sweet deposit bonus. And like Kramer said, the prop builder, very, very fun. Easy to get lost in that old prop builder. Take the bonus, go to work at the prop builder. Very fun. It's like it's a diner menu for degens. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rebet. Shout out to Rebet. Been getting a bunch of great feedback from people who are trying out Rebet. So try it out. It's available in 45 states. So if you're listening to this and you're in the States, a good chance you have Rebet available in your app store. Download Rebet from your app store and use the promo code SGPN. Get you a 100% deposit match up to $100. Just that easy. Rebet, promo code SGPN. Kramer.
All right. So what have we done? 3? Yes, 3.
Yes.
All right. Prop number 4. Do back-to-back running back receiving yard props.
Okay. Right. Oh wait, sorry, I didn't give mine out.
Oh, go ahead.
Ryan, we've been on this angle before, and I think it's worth revisiting. We talked about how the Bills Lions, we expect a playoff like atmosphere.
Yes.
What happens in playoff games? Josh Allen runs the ball.
Yes.
Josh Allen over 7.5 rushing attempts. I mean, he's had a bunch. If you look at like what he's been doing in big games so far this season, he runs the rock, him carrying it 8 times. And obviously there's always the chance you get those bonus kneel down ones, but against the Rams, 10 for 82, didn't have a ton against the 49ers. It was a blowout, weird snow game. But then against the Chiefs, 12 for 55, 8 for 50 against the Colts, 9 for 18 earlier in the season against the, against Houston there, or sorry, against the Jets in a primetime game. So I think he senses this is a big game. He's going to get up for it. When it's a big game, Josh Allen lowers his shoulder and runs the ball. So over 7.5. And we keep talking about how it's good opportunities against this Aaron Glenn defense. Now the rushing yards, I feel like they factored it in, but the rushing attempts at 7.5 feels like the way to attack it.
I played that earlier in the year, and that's a low number for him, especially in the gotta have it games.
Let's go, baby. So Kramer, what's your next prop?
All right. So going back to the running back receiving yards, Josh Jacobs. Now this is a little bit of a jet play on Josh Jacobs. You know, I like a good pattern, Sean. Josh Jacobs. So in his last game, he had 0 receptions. Not very good. If you're playing an over, game before that 4, game before that 0, game before that 4. So he's obviously due to have a 4 catch game. And if he has a 4 catch game, the likelihood that he does not go over 12.5 yards is very, very, very low. Also, look at the history of what running backs have been doing to the Seahawks defense. Well, the Cardinals, a lot of dink and dunk to the running back. Same with the Jets before them. Obviously, they played the Cardinals twice. Even the Niners went to that well. So pretty much every team that's played the Seahawks has found a way to get over 12.5 receiving yards for the running back. Smash.
Wow.
Smash.
Back to back.
CJ.
I also like a running back. There's a lot of tough numbers to get for running back receiving yards. So I went with rushing, which I don't mind here on this one, although I wouldn't mind his receiving as well. But to that great Jets game that's going to happen down there in Jacksonville, Isaiah Davis.
There he is.
Who is?
He's been fun.
He's been a lot of fun.
Kramer cashed the first touchdown on him.
Yeah, that was an amazing first touchdown. He just looks as a jolt to him that even more than Braylon Allen, who I was also a big fan of, obviously preseason. But he's, this is the time of year when these running backs come out of nowhere. Either the rookies getting up or just young backs getting up who have no wear and tear on them. He's 22 years old. It's like the Benjamin Buttons of football. The less, the less action you have, the more valuable you are. And in fantasy, these are championship winners. These guys who come out of nowhere. You've seen Reese over there with the Raiders. So Isaiah Davis, and it looked like he dominated the share last week. I watched that entire game, but he didn't. It was actually 50-50, but he just looked better than Braylon Allen.
Yeah.
Jacksonville gives up the second most yards to running backs the last 8 weeks. So I think both of them will actually have great games. Allen's numbers are actually bigger than Davis because he's the perceived number one. Breece Hall is definitely out. So I'm looking at 39.5 yards at plus 105 for Isaiah Davis. I think the Jets have a day. They'll be up comfortably before they can jet. They're not going to jet this game against Jacksonville.
Never. No.
Impossible.
No. The Jets losing against the Jags? No way. It's like CJ's reverse jinxing his like it's Brian. It's a master class. Some people are talking about master classes in sports gambling. This is a fucking my This is a master class.
Never get into a battle of wits with a Sicilian when death is on the line.
I mean, if you don't see how CJ's operating on another level, I don't know what. I mean, let the chef cook, Ryan. I just get out of the kitchen.
I need my glasses. Yeah, don't want to get grease in my eye.
I do like the Cincinnati Bengals. However, there are some Titans props that are interesting, including
really
NWI, aka Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. I hit him 2 touchdowns. Didn't have a touchdown last week. I think he's good for a touchdown. But for this prop, I'm going to play his over 37.5 receiving yards. He's been over this a bunch so far this season. The Bengals secondary still kind of skeptical. Would not be surprised if this is a shootout game. Titans playing from behind. Calvin Ridley not trying to get 2 extra yards. Like I think if you're Will Levis, there's a couple guys he can complete passes to. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine is like a massive frame. He's really been like a nice surprise player. It's a shame he's stuck on this Titans offense because he's playing hard, and I think he is a pretty good receiver, especially in the red zone. So I like the touchdown, and the touchdown you're getting at plus 255, but I'll officially call this the over 37.5 receiving yards. Kramer.
All right. So prop number 5 brought some extra juice. Sounds like David Njoku will be out. We all agree.
Yep.
Who backs up David Njoku?
Jordan Atkins.
Yep.
Jordan Akins, right?
Akins. Atkins diet, Akins. Staying off those carbs. Right now, Sean, you can get an anytime price of 5 to 1. It's
crazy.
What?
I know.
Oh my God. Well, and CJ, I'm going to step in because I like that, and I'm going to because my angle is almost exactly the same thing, just on a different team.
Okay.
Where the Chargers Will Dissly is out, and Stone Smart's anytime touchdown is plus 340. It's not quite 5-1, but it's a similar thing. They don't hang. They hang these touchdown prices before they hang the catch in the yardage. Dissly is not playing, and when Dissly went out, Stone Smart was 3 for 54. Especially with Ladd being not 100%.
Phone the accountant.
Okay.
Tie those two together. Should pay about 25-1.
Oh, I might put that into Underdog right now. Actually, yeah, I'm going to. While I'm doing that, CJ, what do you like? What's your fifth prop? And sorry for bumping in line there, but it was such a similar handicap.
No, because you're going to hear that name again when we get to the Degen parlay. I mean, we are all on the same wavelength, which I think is great for the fans out there.
Then don't worry about what I was going to say.
What are you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, by the way, his something is even bigger price.
Sure.
So we'll tease that to later in the show.
It's an amazing price.
It's something.
It sure is something.
Yeah.
It's a something for you. I know it's incredible though that we're all in. We saw. I still can't believe it. So much where I was like, I was afraid the number was going to change before we got on the air. I got some in.
This happens to chicks. Their cycles sync up.
Yep. Or prop cycles are synced.
I'll give one that's not a great number, but it's a better number than I thought it was going to be. I'm only minus 110.
It's a great number.
That is a great number. It's a great number for what this is because I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I mean, I have him down for 2 touchdowns. This one touchdown at minus 110 is a pretty great price for Brian Robinson Jr. on the Washington Saints game.
Great matchup.
Great matchup, of course, against the Saints. I think the bye hit the Saints at the worst time last week. They had momentum and then it was all gone. The Riz is all over with. That was just
the Riz. They're getting Riz down.
Yeah.
Whatever the opposite of Rizzed up is, Riz down.
Limp-dicked.
I have a feeling this game is going to be a debacle. This could be pleaser material tomorrow on the VSiN show.
I think so.
This looks like it's going to be gross. So I don't see how Brian Robinson does not score a touchdown against the Saints team in the dome in this in a game they're going to want to grind out as well. So minus 110, Brian Robinson anytime touchdown.
Dog.
That's a good anytime parlay builder right there.
Yeah, just to get your feet wet.
Free square almost.
All right, let's do a little time for some ladder chatter. Getting ready to climb the beanstalk. Kramer, what do you got?
Caleb Williams rushing yards. I mean,
okay.
You see, let's look what he's done recently. He's got. First of all, the baseline is 24.5. So
that's come down.
He has, let's see here.
I mean, over the last couple of weeks, not like from this.
Well, here's what's crazy is, Green Bay, he runs for 70 yards. The number was 21.5 that week. It then goes down to 20.5. He runs for 33, then pops all the way up to 31.5 for that Thanksgiving game. More eyes on the situation. He runs for 39 anyway. It drops back down to 25.5 against the Niners. He still runs for 27. It's now 24.5 in a situation where the pressure from Flores is definitely going to cause him to run the ball. So
how high does it go? I'm interested.
We get on the ladder. Like I said, baseline is 24.5, 39.5. We get over that, it's plus 210. Plus 360 to get over 49.5, plus 600 if he can get to 60 yards, Sean. Which again, what did I say? He ran for 70 against Green Bay on November 17th, and 56 against Jacksonville October 13th. For documentation purposes, 70 yards is plus 950.
Wow!
Oh my God!
Yeah, no, love that angle.
Surprised neither one of you.
And also too because the Bears offense could be out of sorts a little bit.
They're going to be trailing. I think
you know what I mean.
In a lot of my simulations.
Oh, hey, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to run. Yeah. Very much that vibe in Chicago. And we see this all the time where like the team that's down big, they get a bunch of garbage yards from the quarterback because this
could be one drive at the end.
They sit back in some like super soft deep zone and it's easy underneath yards and they want to keep the drive going. You could get like 30-40 yards at that on like a garbage drive at the end. So I like that angle. And it's interesting too in the same game parlay because like they're big dogs. So it's probably you're getting a better price on those rushing yards because I don't think they factor in the garbage stuff for quarterback rushing yards.
Yeah, I wonder what it would look. I mean, I think by itself, it seems mispriced standalone. I don't know how the correlation engine works in terms of rushing yards. I would imagine that's a little bit more of a random occurrence.
CJ, what do you got? What do you like for a ladder?
Got a nice little ladder. Now I know last week I went with the rushing ladder on Visa, and you went with the touchdowns last week with Kenneth Gainwell and then Shipley.
Oh yeah.
And the and handicapping was solid. It's like going against Carolina, bad rush defense. There'll be a big game script.
They never got a big. That was the problem.
They never got a big. You know why? Because Carolina has improved. We've learned that that's not the same Carolina team. You know, as they took the Chiefs to the buzzer. They almost beat Tampa Bay, you know, and they almost beat Philadelphia. It's a different Carolina team. We've established that. Who's Carolina now? Who's that big spread? Close your ears on this one, Kramer. But I think, I mean, let's just say Baltimore.
The big dog gets out of the kennel.
Let's just say Baltimore's up a bit in the second half. Derrick Henry's number's over 100. You're not going to do that. Lamar's is over 50 because his mama called him out, you know, said he got to run more. So, you know, that's going to hit. Justice Hill, though. If we can get him in the second half, the lowest rung on this ladder is 13.5 rushing yards for a man who might be playing the entire fourth quarter as the running back for Baltimore Ravens against his Giants rush defense, which is obviously a sieve. Look at this ladder. 25 yards plus 205. 40 yards plus 515 for Justice Hill to get 50 measly yards, Kramer. Plus 950.
Should be. I will say they've been a little bit better defending the interior run versus the outside stuff. So that does jives.
How are they against inline tight ends? Taylor Mathis told me about George Kittle plays an inline tight end.
CJ, did you look at the what about the receiving yards? Are the receiving yards?
Well, I know that's
an interesting angle too. I like both.
Yeah, I know it's got a great history here. The Justice Hill receiving yard ladder, of course. Kramer, congratulations on that one.
Stand bow.
Saving the kitty there. We'll just genuflect. You remain seated. We'll genuflect to you.
We're swatting Iranian drones back into the Atlantic.
No, that was the thing. I was looking at receiving yards for running backs, and it's a little harder to find. But Justice Hill is perfect for that. But I think the value, because it's so low, you know, for rushing, because I just think that the entire his receiving yard ladder is almost as similar. 25 yards plus 200, 40 yards plus 500, 50 yards plus 900.
I would play the rushing.
Yeah, I think the rushing is the way to go.
I think the Giants, like the weakness of this Giants
team,
they
have a weakness
on the defensive side has been the.
This is what I've been waiting for. Why did it take so long?
Well,
it's like you know, pushing an old person down a flight of stairs.
I'm trying to give CJ.
Sure, you can do it, but how much?
I'm with it.
There's not a lot of
but
fight
fans
back.
Appreciate objective
handicapping
and information, unlike that hot air balloon on the other side of the table.
Oh wow.
So you agree with the rushing of Justice Hill?
I think the Giants certainly have a number of cornerbacks that have failed to show the attitude needed to tackle on the edge. So if he would, I be surprised if Justice Hill turns a little like what should be a 4-yard sweep around the edge into a 20-yarder. Would not be surprising at all. Also, the bright spot in the back end in the secondary, Tyler Nubin, the rookie out of Minnesota, he's done for the year now. So the hits keep on coming.
It's just not good.
Hits keep on coming. God bless.
Brian, what do you think about Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy in fantasy? Achan. Got some questions in the chat, but do you think
what's fantasy? Who's fantasy?
It applies to the props
you keep
too.
Telling me you're retiring, but then
are they? I'm trying to help Patty Melts out. Do you think Neighbors gets a bunch of garbage PPR stuff? Tyrone Tracy, where are we at with the Giants offense? With known Italian Tommy DeVito.
I think the one thing this offense has been able to do, in spite of having backup linemen, no quarterback, run the ball. Tyrone Tracy's like slow hesitation seems to work. So I would say that Tracy has. I mean, he's been almost like one of these matchup proof receivers. He's been scoring points on a fucking dog shit team every week, Sean. We have him on our fantasy team.
Yeah, no,
he scores 15 to 20 points every week.
Well, he was
on a horrible team, which generally running backs correlate to the offense they're on, but
not in this case.
He catches some pass. Like he's a pretty smooth player. Like he's
gonna get some check down stuff.
The Le'Veon Bell comps are definitely legit. Hopefully he's not crazy like Le'Veon Bell. But yeah, no, I would. Both those guys are gonna have. I mean, Sean, we played both those guys a week ago, and it was like what 30 points combined, maybe more. That's almost hard to imagine on a team that only scored 8 points or whatever.
My ladder.
You're welcome, Patty Melts.
Yeah, there you go. My ladder. It's a 3-stepper. First step, AJ Brown 1 touchdown. Oh, wow. Second step, AJ Brown 2 touchdowns. Third step, AJ Brown 3. Count them, 3 touchdowns against the Steelers. Last time he played the Steelers, 6 for 156, 3 touchdowns. He's about to carve up Gotham City, aka the Steelers backfield. Is Gotham what he attacks? I don't know. I don't do that stuff. But AJ Brown to have a massive game. Touchdowns are in play. 1 is plus 150. 2 is plus 1200. 3 85 to 1.
Oh,
those are some beautiful TDs. AJ Brown gets you home. Let's cook.
Only 85 to 1 on the 3 touchdowns.
Only. Okay. Well, it's because it's happening, right? Hey, UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. If you haven't signed up there, what are you waiting for? Underdog Fantasy, great for pick'em, and obviously you can get some.
You know I'm a degenerate.
Because you could enter like I just did here. We were just talking about Stone Smart, Jordan Akins. I just played higher, a half touchdown on each of those. Got a really a nice payout, put a couple bucks on it. And that's the fun over at Underdog Fantasy. And of course they got the playoff best ball drafts as well. It's fun to like not actually have to manage a fantasy team, but still get the rush of fantasy. That's really the downfall of fantasy is adjusting the players. That's why best ball is good.
Who do you need this week? Who's the one player that you, if they have a big game, you think you're
AJ Brown?
AJ Brown.
No,
is AJ Brown on any of the teams that advance for you?
He's on my 4 teams. I think he's on 2 of them.
Okay.
Stafford's in there a bunch. Barkley. I have a Barkley Derrick Henry team. I think Barkley's on 3 of them. Baker's in there. Matt Stafford is on my hits. Matt Stafford's on the team with Matt Stafford and Trevor Lawrence. So I really need Matt Stafford on that team because I don't have a lot of options. And Jaden Daniels is randomly in there a lot with, of course, Zach Ertz. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams shake out. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other Barkley teams I'm going up against, and that's always part of the handicap. So I don't even know what I'm actually rooting for. We'll take a look though. Time for.
You know I'm a degenerate.
Little
hashtag Degens only.
Bets here. Kramer, kick it off. What do you got?
What are we? Did you want to build an underdog one first?
Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, the fireworks at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. What do you like for your underdog?
Well, do we want to recycle or do we want something fresh?
That's professional broadcasting, by the way. You make him sit through the advertisement for the parlay at the end, and leave the carrot at the end.
Yeah,
of it.
It's a great teaser.
It's an advertisement that's going to make you money. I'm not saying that. Listen, we're putting it in there.
Saying,
I'm playing this underdog right now. Let's do it.
Constantly moving the war pieces around the board, you know.
I'm putting in whatever
war pieces.
Yeah, playing risk over here, right?
Yeah, I always like mixing it up from what we gave out, but
and did we talk Chuba on the last show? I believe.
Yeah, we did for our
on the pick show, right?
Pick show we gave out Chuba. So I like Chuba, Xavier Leggett, and Bryce Young all higher yards. I think I'm invested enough on the Panthers right now. But what else you got?
the recycle option would be obvious that the Caleb Williams rushing number, which is 25.5 on Underdog.
Okay.
Or we gave out a bonus ladder earlier on the show. We could also put that in the card because we all really like the Bryce Young rushing. We all seemed very confident that was a smash.
I don't understand how that doesn't hit.
All right, so let's just go. CJ and I both gave out or have Bryce Young ladders.
All right, so back to back. So first overall pick rushing.
Yeah. So Bryce Young higher 13.5 rushing yards. Put it in. CJ, where are we going? Zigzag, whatever you want to do.
Zigzag. I know I already gave out Isaiah Davis, but like I said, I'm just all in on this Jets game as well.
You really are.
And I think Aaron Rodgers threw for 300 yards last week. And that was against a little tougher to defense when he's going up against this. Jacksonville's got the second most passing yards of anyone.
They're bad.
Third most passing touchdowns. And Rodgers at the point this season where he's threatening, listen, I'm playing every game. It's like they want him to shut down. He goes, my goal is to play every game. I was like, oh, God, and I love him still on the show, still right now. Now he's got a little fire under his ass, with the comments about ESPN while he's on ESPN, which created content for ESPN to talk about ESPN.
Was Inception.
It was amazing.
The level of content creation we can only hope to get to.
And I will say, right, yeah, it was Inception. It was ESPN talking about ESPN, talking about ESPN. Like, listen, yeah, he might be a hypocrite, but he's also right. That's why I love the ESPN. I said, but you're doing it on ESPN, yeah, but they're talking about you, and you're guilty when that's what you're saying. What about you? Well, great, it is about him, but he's a football player. He's not supposed to have the same journalistic integrity as you. Guy who went to Syracuse because they all went to Syracuse or Northwestern.
Oh, be careful. We don't want to. That's the Illuminati. Let's keep the
I'll just
keep the lights on.
I'll just keep attacking Mina Kimes. That works on the internet. Something like that.
Cool. Go after her.
No, she's fine. But Aaron Rodgers passing yards. Let's see, what is it here? I think it was 225 on the book. Oh, Underdog is a little higher, 233.
Okay.
I'll still go with it though. I like Aaron Rodgers. This is Jacksonville's defense. I know last week was the first 300-yard game he's had like in a year and a half, but he looks good. To be honest with you, I mean, he actually looks good. He looks inspired. I think he's actually happier than he's ever been right now. Now that's really
now that he's.
What are you basing that
on? Just that he actually has some kind of merit where he can say these conspiracy theories on McAfee show.
Yeah, he has a platform.
Right. Yes, that's all he wants. So 233. I'll still take that over just against this terrible Jacksonville defense. I think they pour it on him.
All right, for me, I'm gonna go to this Titans Bengals game. I think ultimately the Bengals are going to be able to move the ball. Joe Burrow, higher 25.5 completions. They love throwing the football.
Okay.
30. These are his game. 33 completions, 28, 28, 24, 27, 26. You have to go to at Browns or at Giants back when he wasn't able to get over this number, and then 30 against the Ravens. Like this seems pretty, and it's a hair spicy. So I like it. $100 entry returns you $624. So higher Joe Burrow, 25.5 completions. Higher Aaron Rodgers, 233.5 passing yards. Higher Bryce Young, 13.5 rushing yards.
Let's do it.
So fun times there. And now it is time for.
I'm a degenerate.
#Degens only.
Kramer, kick things off. What do you got?
All right. This is going to seem too easy, but 3 guys, 2 touchdowns each. I'll repeat: 3 guys, 2 touchdowns each.
Okay. Are you round robining it?
I would not. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's a soundbite right there. I like that.
All right. Jaden Daniels returns to Louisiana in a game where they could be cooked. I agree with you. I think Brian Robinson probably also can find the end zone here, but I'm going Jaden Daniels 2 touchdowns.
I like it.
Next up, we mentioned Joe Mixon. Everything. Joe Mixon. Fine. I mean this team is riding on the back of Joe Mixon with CJ Stroud's massive step back ever since he tried to give advice to Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon 2 touchdowns. Throw that in there against the Dolphins, like a game that obviously could have a number of touchdowns scored in it. And then the last one, a matchup that we love. I think a lot of people talking about the ground matchup. I liked them through the air earlier in the show. Josh Jacobs, 2 touchdowns against that Seahawks team. Again, relative chalk. 3 guys, 2 touchdowns each, 111-1.
What?
If you add in the 2 teamers, the grip of them would pay another.
Grip. I like good use of the word grip.
Yes.
Would pay another 71-1. So again, I'll document it all in the sheet, but essentially a max. If you were to do a flat unit across all, so 4 units, you would return about 180-1.
Like it. Like it. CJ, what do you got?
Amazing.
Degens only.
Degens only, and this is also a 2 touchdown parlay.
Okay.
2 guys.
Oh, well.
2 touchdowns, 1 game.
Shit.
Kramer was polite enough to back out. He sensed it coming there. We already went over Jordan Akins there.
Yeah.
I was looking at first. I'm like, I want to find a Blake Whiteheart number, but they wouldn't put one up there. Blake Whiteheart's the backup to Akins.
Yeah.
Wake Forest tight end, a tall glass of water. If he comes out, keep him on your first touchdown sheet there on your menu. Get ready for him. They just haven't released his numbers yet. They will as soon as Njoku gets out. As soon as Njoku goes out.
I get you.
But Akins numbers are absolutely insane. Or Atkins numbers 500, like you said, plus 500 for one touchdown. His 2 touchdowns is plus 3,900. That's insane. Oh my God. And must be right. Not only is he the starting tight end for the Cleveland Browns with Winston slinging the ball.
Hold on. I will tell you that I believe FanDuel has 80 to 1.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at mybookie.ag promo code SGPN.
That's great number too, but I just
I'll take
shopping around.
I mean, I'll take the 80.
I like how you threw it back in my face. That was good.
I'll take the 80 because that was the number you pulled back. That's why you couldn't get it. All right. Well, that's an incredible number, obviously. That would change everything.
Numbers. They're all good numbers. There's no bad numbers out there.
Absolutely. And like we said, they're going against Kansas City, who gets crushed by the tight end. The reverse Kelsey, we've been riding all year.
Yeah.
And Njoku had 2 touchdowns or at least that Monday nighter, and he had one last week. Winston loves him. Winston loves the tight end. Winston loves everybody.
I'm gonna have this.
He loves life.
Yeah, he loves everybody. I was just gonna say, if you haven't seen the new Hard Knocks yet, I caught like 20 minutes of it last night.
Very good.
Incredible. It's all Winston. It was just amazing stuff.
Honestly, what if we just watched that division every year?
Yeah, that division.
What are we like? Right. Who says no? Who says no?
It's always a competitive division too, or at least very interesting.
You have excellent personalities on each team.
I'm working here.
Excellent personalities.
So same game there. Noah Gray, Kansas City. They keep pricing him like he is. I mean, like he's a backup tight end, like he's a blocking tight end. Him and Kelsey split. I mean, they kind of get the split numbers. I mean, it's almost a 50-50 shot of which one's going to get a tight end, even when they didn't get a touchdown. I mean, they try to shovel with him and got stuffed. Even that game, they did not get a touchdown versus the Raiders. I mean, they try to get Noah Gray. He had 2 touchdowns versus Carolina. He is what I know. It's usually his 3rd or 4th, 5th progression for Mahomes, but Mahomes said he always knows where he's at because he's not running around making up routes like Kelsey doing his jazz work.
Freestyle.
Right. So Gray
runs all that space work from the Eras tour.
Yeah. His ATD is plus 325.
Woo. Okay.
You parlay that with one, by the way, just to get a nice little ground floor. Just if you want to wade in the kiddie pool, I like to say in these Degen parlays. Atkins and Gray anytime touchdown parlay, that's 25 to 1. Just get those plus 500 and plus 325. That's not too shabby. Now his 2 touchdowns is plus 2650. I have with a terrible number plus 3,900. I should be getting 80 to 1.
Wow.
With the terrible number, a $10 parlay, 2 touchdowns for Atkins, 2 touchdowns for Gray, pays you 10,800.
Oh my God!
Can you, CJ, if you wouldn't mind just putting that handwritten notes under the camera real quick?
Yep, sure.
I just want to show the audience real quick the authentic name. I mean, just look this.
Look at this.
There's no. I mean, it's handwritten notes at its finest. I mean, my God, and the paper, the stock he's on. Look at this. Look at that. There's a calendar in the corner.
He's writing over a calendar. I love it.
Beautiful.
That's just for the parlay part only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ryan, for my Degen only parlay, it starts with a little trivia.
All right, Sean, let's play trivia.
What do
I can tell Sean's really pissed off when he's got as far
playing
as
fun
trivia.
games.
Yeah.
No, trivia. This is a fun way to introduce it. What does Kyler Murray and Anthony Richardson have in common?
Not their height.
Nope.
They both can throw 90-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Okay, yeah, Kyler Murray, very good baseball player. That's not what I was getting at. Any other guesses? CJ, feel free.
Yeah, I'd have to say some kind of Halo video game situation there. They have to be.
Okay, I can see that.
They're both gamers,
right?
I can see Gino being a gamer. That's
Gino or Anthony.
Anthony Richardson. Yeah, I wouldn't have said that with Gino.
Well, those are 2 very different people.
Gino's a good dominoes player.
That's a real small dick, big dick situation there.
So AR-15 and Kyler Murray both 2 rushing touchdowns against the New York Jets. You know who's squaring off against them?
Who?
Mac Jones, baby.
Oh no!
Let's go.
No.
Mac Jones, 1 touchdown, 10 to 1. Mac Jones, 2 rushing touchdowns, 120 to 1 against his dead Jets team.
Wow.
who CJ really likes. But I keep forgetting if that's one you really like or if that's the reverse of what you like.
Yeah, I can't keep up with it now either.
So Mac Jones, 2 touchdowns, 120-1. That's all you need. Just Mac Jones to have himself a game against a team. The Jets lead the league in giving up rushing touchdowns to the quarterback. Something's going on there. It's that they're lazy and they don't care. Mac Jones is dying to stay in the league. He also has a rushing touchdown already this season, and that's on he has 11 carries, 1 touchdown. So, I give you 13 carries, 1 touchdown? So that's a great percentage.
So I'm just looking at Winston throw to Blake Whiteheart in the snow.
No, I was going to say that. I feel like Colby's sitting next to me watching.
I mean, look at Blake Whiteheart, for crying out loud, high pointing the ball.
Colby or Sean, I do have a couple other random interesting Degen bets I stumbled into on the internet.
Okay.
After Josh Allen's record-setting performance of three rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns, that only himself, he's the only one to do it in the regular season. Otto Graham did it in the championship game back in the 50s. They've priced that out. What do you think that price is, Sean? Josh Allen, specifically just Josh Allen, to throw for 3 and run for 3 this week. Going to be a lot of points in that game.
I mean, they never give you a good number on this, so I'm going to say
Glenn.
to run it back.
It should be like 1,000-1, but it's going to be like 120-1.
Yeah, I'd say -110.
-110.
400-1.
Ah.
Here's a better one, which to me this one's harder, but the odds are shorter. Josh Allen to record a passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown.
Yeah, that's much harder.
That's him.
Yeah, it's only they only have it priced at only 150-1. That's not right.
That's
Why do they?
That's like when they say the cycle is the hardest thing hitting baseball, but meanwhile, because they say always the triples the hardest. Well, then why isn't 4 triples the hardest thing to do?
Yeah,
you know, if the triples the hardest thing to get in the cycle, then it must be harder to hit 4 triples. No one's ever done that.
That's very hard.
Right.
Shout out to Tomcat and the SGPN Twitch gang checking in. Yeah, let's get it. So, and shout out to EB Steelers. Rocked SGPN gear to my toddler's class today.
Nice.
Had to help bake cookies. Let's just say, let it ride.
Shout out
a divorcee panty dropper.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Oh, I heard you like to bet on sports.
I did have a great interaction where someone asked me, "What is Degen University?" Not familiar with that one.
Degens only.
Well,
Hashtag Degens only.
It's funny because I went with the approach of saying it was a small school in Idaho.
I was trying to explain to my dad what Degen University was, and he was having a little trouble wrapping his head around it. He's like, "So you made up a fake college?" I'm like, "Yeah." No, he was getting it.
We're getting accredited.
Yeah,
we're in progress.
I did briefly look into getting accreditation, so maybe if we hit one of these Degen only bets, we actually start the university.
I like how it's a university, so it implies as a grad school. With it too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a tech. It's not a college, right?
It's a university. Dog.
It's class. It's got a campus and everything.
Dog. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. As always, make sure you check out CJ Sullivan on X at CJ Sullivan _ there, and of course subscribe to the Bottom Line Bombs podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and toss us a bone. MyBookie.ag promo code SGPN, rebet promo code SGPN, Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN, and download that SGPN app completely free. All the picks, the props, the plays, all in one place.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, Stacking the Money Green. He's Ryan.
Continue to report those leans. Appreciate your service.
Kramer, let it ride.